You're tuning in to Past Our Prime, a show powered by Squad Locker.
Here are your hosts, retired Astros minor league star Tip Fairchild and former Patriots All-Pro center Dan Copen.
You're sideways. You start this already, Max. Just do that the whole time, Josh.
The whole time.
All right.
No, you're actually sideways.
There you go. Perfect.
Did you dress up?
Painful. Sorry.
Hey, did you dress up? You're dressed up right now.
For you guys, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Nice.
Look at Dan. He's got this. He just played at Moisa. Look at this hoodie that he has on. He bought this in the pro shop. RLX with a logo, with a hood.
So if you buy it in the pro shop, does that mean you're allowed to wear it on the course?
I think they're still in between winter rules, and because it was like 45 when we went out today.
Right.
So it wasn't a problem.
And I feel like we were led today.
What were they?
Wasn't it supposed to be nice?
It was. Yeah. Well, it basically jumped up 15 degrees in about 15 minutes. It was fucking freezing for 2 hours, and then it just got warm.
Yeah.
The sun didn't come out till like 11 or something like that.
When I was coming into work today, my half-a-mile drive, it was sleeting.
Yeah.
It was like slamming my windshield. So
where are you guys?
We're in Warwick.
We're in the office.
We're in New York City. We go live to you from Rock and Roll Center.
It's easier for me to just come in there. I thought you guys were still like big mask people or something.
Well, no, you got to pick up the kids. So next time we'll bring you in live.
All right.
We'll go live.
We would require a vaccine identification first.
Identification
a vaccine passport.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Guys, close your ears.
Nice.
Oh no, we have 2 beers with us. We're good.
All right, good.
Yeah. This is going to be live.
We're just going to go.
So
We're just going to go
because you coming in horizontal was
What
hilarious.
episode is this?
21.
21.
Episode 21.
Hey everybody, welcome to Past Our Prime, episode 21. He's Tip, I'm Dan, coming at you.
Yep.
We're just going to get into it.
We're going straight into it.
Let's just go.
I
I actually find it better and more interesting when we just talk to guests. And this guy is making the podcast rounds.
He's a superstar.
Splitting chicklets. Or splitting chicklets.
Spitting chicklets.
Spitting chicklets. And then he's on Far From Par. He's like a regular.
You're on there all the time. You're like a golf. Is it your voice or is it your face? You have a face.
Do you want to
built
introduce
for
him
radio.
first or no?
Yeah, Josh Hennessy, pro hockey player,
AKA Henny.
Somehow you're young. Like I don't understand how you played for 25 years pro basically, and you're not 40 yet. So is that how it works in hockey? I mean, I know we're going to get into that career path, but. You're a middle-aged 30s guy, but you've got a 20-year career under your belt.
Whoa, middle-aged.
Well, no, middle 30s guy, mid-30s guy.
We can't talk. We mess stuff up all the time.
Yeah, we don't cut anything either. So, if you say something you want us to cut.
I'm glad you guys are drinking because I was going to put it in like a solid, like a Yeti. But now I can just leave it in the can, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your question?
I forgot.
Why did I?
Yeah, 25-year pro and you're mid-age 30s.
Well, how did you play so long professionally and still be retired now, under 40, and playing golf every day? How does that happen in hockey?
Tell everybody I play golf every day. Because then they're going to want to know what my handicap is. I didn't go to college, so that helps.
Got it.
Or it helps you squeak in a few more years on the front end, I guess. So my pro career was 13 years. I turned pro at 20 out of Canadian Major Junior Hockey. So, but I moved technically. I didn't play in college. According to the NCAA, if you go play Major Junior in Canada, that's considered professional because you get paid a little bit. So, college was out the window for me at 16 because I moved to Quebec City. I was drafted by a team up there, and you technically. You get paid, but it's still junior hockey. I wouldn't call it professional, but it's anyway. That was how. So I would say if you wanted to stretch it, you could say 17 years I got paid to play.
And you get paid when you're a 16-year-old in hockey.
I did.
You personally? You personally?
No. Yeah, so a little bit. Yeah,
got it.
So on paper, as a 16-year-old, I think I was making $54 Canadian a week. Which
living right.
Can't even Like you can't. That's not even like if you buy 2 movie tickets. Like if you buy one for your girlfriend, like she can't have any popcorn.
That was my AA salary, by the way. Same number.
Well, you guys get O's from what I hear in minor league baseball.
Yeah, that was my AA salary. Yeah.
And then I want to say the team was paying my dad as a scout, and I don't know how much scouting he did.
Did you?
We'll leave it at that.
Well, I mean, technically, he did. He probably sent the film up to him, so he probably did the job.
Yeah, he sent film of me, and then
the Earl Woods of junior hockey.
Yeah, exactly. He set me up in the high chair in the garage while he was shooting pucks.
Exactly.
How does that work? I mean, because I think it's sort of. I mean, it used to be a big junior program, and that's how you get into NHL and maybe the Russian leagues. But has it switched a little bit to where now players are using the college now as that type of junior program? And if it is switched, do you want to go back and do college?
I would have liked to have done both, to be honest with you, because I have no regrets. I had an unbelievable experience and pretty unique for American guys, or especially New England guys. It's more common in the Midwest that guys go to the OHL because they go to Ontario or the Western League where it's English speaking. It's rare to do what I did because it's predominantly French speaking where I went. So most New England prospects obviously end up playing at one of the New England hockey schools. I wish I could have experienced both, but I had an awesome time and it worked out for me personally. I promised my mom that I would get a degree at some point, so I lied.
High school degree or college degree?
my high school diploma is in the mail.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was good for me. I don't regret it at all. Would it have been cool to experience both? Yes, but absolutely no regrets. Now, if my boys are ever faced with that, it's going to be a tough call. But
I have a stats question for you. First stat that I saw.
Sure.
It says, now I'm assuming this has to be with skates on and fully clothed and padded.
We're going to do hockey, not golf, right?
Yeah, we're doing hockey.
We'll get to golf.
It says 6'201". 6'201". That is your actual size on hockey. I mean, all the sites are different. Baseball,
201 pounds.
201 pounds.
Yeah.
6'201".
Are you saying that's big or small?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too.
You're not 6'201". I play golf with you every other week.
Or I stopped playing. Dan lost 100 pounds since he stopped playing.
So you were 201 when you were playing?
Eddie. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's true. He has lost 100 pounds.
That's why this XL RLX thing can fit right now.
The question I have, though, is did you grow 3 inches too? Or
I am exactly 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I think you are, actually. I won't bust your balls too much on that. I think you are 6 foot.
I know. Like, are you that much taller than me? How tall are you?
No, I'm 6'2". I tower over you, but
you're more than 200, though.
I'm more than 200 for sure.
Like, I lose a quarter of an inch with every triple bogey I make, I think, in people's eyes.
Gotcha.
No, I'm 6 feet.
So you played at 200 pounds then?
I mean, it was like the opposite of boxers. I wanted to look bigger, so I would drink 3 gallons of water and beef up to 200 to weigh in on the first day of camp, and then I would play at 190.
Okay, so that stat makes a little more sense.
That's actually kind of smart. If they're not setting a weight limit, hey, show the weight early on. Now I can play like this, and you're playing probably faster than a 200-pound guy. Hey, 200 is a good weight.
But nobody cares anymore. So I think I was like at the tail end of the generation or the last generation where they're like, get bigger, get stronger, get meaner. Probably would have been easier for me to not have to worry about it because I spent so much time lifting that in hindsight was useless. And players like hours and hours of my life, days, or who knows how much time of my life, just so I could like crush all the testing and training camp. And then it's like, so you hit like what they want you to hit for like how many pull-ups you can do. And then you go on the ice and everything's out the window, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, Dan has a different, your weight limit testing or whatever it was, you had to weigh in and then you had to stay there. You were fined, right?
Well, yeah,
but you couldn't go above or below or something? I mean, something weird.
It was basically where you get, even in college too, the head coach would talk to the strength trainer, then they'd talk to the doctors and the medical people, and it would be just, hey, all 3 people, your offensive line coach or whatever position coach is like, what's his best weight? get the input, and then if they set the bar or they set the weight, you get the letter in the mail. Here's your report date. Here's your reporting weight. Mm-hmm. And then back then with the CBA, when I was playing, it was like $500 a pound per day. If you were
so
over.
you were not.
If you were over, Henny, I'm not even joking. Some guys are. I mean, I don't want to lose for 2 pounds. I don't want to lose $1,000 a day, right? Or right. Guys that are like 10 pounds. That's $5,000. Guys are in.
Unbelievable.
So what do you do? Yeah. You just what do those guys do?
No, so you report it
in the sauna.
You report at 8 in the morning, and then at 10 o'clock you're running your conditioning test. So they're in there at 5 or 6 in the morning in the sauna before a conditioning test.
Like, so if you ate a big pancake breakfast, you're in trouble. Or if you didn't go to the bathroom,
you don't. Obviously,
well, if you're close, you're close, you know where you got to be. Yeah. But those guys overweight are in there sucking weight in a sauna 2 hours before they got run the conditioning test. That's not healthy.
Yeah, just save like $2 to $10,000. Yeah, which makes sense. I wouldn't want to pay that.
It does make sense, but
now,
you're going to pull your hamstring a lot.
For skill positions, is that for the ball handlers too?
Yeah, every guy gets that letter in the mail and what their weight's supposed to be. You know, obviously for those smaller guys, it's not.
What you call them? Ball handlers?
I don't know.
What did you say? Ball handlers?
I said smaller guys.
Yeah, skill positions. No, he said ball handlers.
I'm not saying he was not skilled. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, everybody gets the letter. Everybody gets the weight, and everybody's on the same page.
We just have fact.
So what if you're light?
Light's fine.
Okay.
Light's fine. You just can't be over.
Okay.
How was it? All right, so let's get back to you. Enough about me.
Yeah, enough about you. Sorry, I always found that story fascinating.
So going up to Quebec at that young of age, no parents, right?
No parents. They dropped me off. I did like the sad wave through the bus window and they were leaving.
And then you went immediately to the bar?
And then I went to the strip club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, straight across the street.
With your $54.
Yeah. No, kidding. No, we, I lived with a host family, basically. Okay. So I ended up living with a couple of host families. I was a lot to handle at that age, I think. And then, but the family that I lived with the majority of the time for the last two and a half seasons, we stayed close with and still in touch with, and they were awesome. So it became comfortable, but it was tough right out of the gate. There are only so many English speaking families. So my first year, they had to put me with a family that completely spoke English, which was fine. But then they kind of like the next year, I learned a little French. So the next year they have to like cycle in the new like English speaking rookie. So it's always that same family. But it was really awesome. I would say the first 4 or 5 months before Christmas, there was huge culture shock, life shock, adjustment. And I wasn't playing well. You realize you're not quite as good as you thought you were. And then I came back from Christmas and I started scoring, and the next 3.5 years were awesome.
And then, so Quebec, you went to Milton Academy first, blue and orange, right? Because we traded golf bags. You've got the Mustangs, and I have a Mustang too. Okay. Mustangs are important. So Milton Academy, Quebec, and then drafted. You played with Ottawa, the Bruins. You played in the KHL, right? So you're all over the place. Got a goal. You got a goal in the NHL, so that's important.
I got one.
Right?
I feel funny when I say, like, when I scored my first goal, because then people assume there was a second.
It's first and last.
I also don't want to say when I scored my goal, because then it's just,
was it an empty netter?
Yeah, empty netter.
Was it an empty netter?
No, but it was, I've scored more difficult goals, put it that way.
Yeah, got it. So
I don't think it made the top 10 Sports Center, but.
Didn't make the highlight reel. Got it. So, you have draft day. How is that different with hockey? I feel like people get drafted and then they still play somewhere for multiple years sometimes. That's baseball. Like, you get drafted, you can't do anything unless you're playing for that team, right? Like, unless if you sign, you have to go. Football, I'm assuming, is the same thing. Right? Like, you sign, you're gone. Like, your eligibility.
Spell it.
No way. Eligibility is gone, right? You're playing. Like, you're done. You can't go back to college. NHL feels totally different because you see people, like, you could be drafted and still play college for, like, a year or two, right? Is that right, or am I wrong there?
Longer than that, yeah. So you usually get drafted at, I think it might have recently changed, but when I was playing, For whatever reason, you would get drafted at 18 as a Canadian and 19 if you were in the U.S. hockey pro. So if it was for most guys, and it was either your senior year of high school, freshman year of college for American guys. But if you went and played major junior, you were actually eligible a year earlier, which that was part of the reason I went also. I think that has since changed. I think now American guys can get drafted at 18 also. But yeah, they have your rights is what they call it. So for a college kid, I believe they have your rights until 3 months after your senior year or something, the 3 months or after your senior season of college. Now, a lot of cases, guys don't finish or they come out early.
Yeah.
Because the team wants to get them in the system, but you don't have to, and they keep your rights. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, when I was younger or when I was coming up, it was actually better for a lot of guys to not get drafted if they're going to go to college. If you're going to have a good college career, and come out at 22 and you're with this one team, or and that's the only opportunity you have because they have your rights, versus coming out as a free agent if you just had a great senior year and you can go wherever you want and wherever there's an opportunity to play right away. So that was kind of an interesting dynamic to hockey, where it was you're almost better off not getting drafted unless you were kind of surefire. Yep. And then but for Canadians, and I got grouped with the Canadians playing up there, you get drafted the year you turn 18, and they can keep your rights for 2 full years. So essentially by the time you're done with junior, then they have to decide whether they're going to sign you or not. And then if they don't, you can actually go back in the draft, and then you would become a free agent if you don't get drafted again.
So when you get drafted,
confusing rules.
Yeah, very super confusing. So confused.
Like
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for making that very clear for us. So when you get drafted, you were gone.
Question, yes, they draft you and they keep your rights for a number of years without having to do anything. They don't have to sign you. They don't have to. You can't. Got it. You can't put a gun to their head and say, "Sign me" at an earlier point.
When you got drafted, did you leave right away? Or did you hang in there for a little while?
No, but you can go to training camp is the thing. Because we already are technically pros in major junior, you can go to camp and make the team. So you go to training camp if you get drafted from Canada. If you happen to make the team, which is only a few guys a year that do that as 18-year-olds, typically the top few picks. And then, but if you don't, there's a deal between the NHL and the Canadian Hockey League that if you don't make the NHL club while you're still eligible to play junior, you have to go back to junior. You can't go to the American League. So they can't send minors. They have to send you to the Canadian Junior League, which keeps that league very, very strong.
So does that league basically play with the NHL season? Because you see colleges, like you said, these guys finish up the Frozen Four, March, somewhere around there. And now you're seeing those guys in the NHL now. Spencer Knight, for example, is playing now. So if the world or the Canadian juniors, they probably play that whole time, and then they have to wait for training camp.
Yeah, exactly. So we would almost mirror the NHL season.
Okay.
And number of games also. So I think colleges are playing 30 to 40 games. So we were playing 72 plus full 4, to win the junior league, it's the same as the NHL. It's 4 best-of-7 series.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Let's talk training camp, though. Let's talk training camp, because training camp you hated training camp.
Hate.
I loved spring training because all you do is golf, especially when you're a pitcher. You don't do anything. You just get in the sun and hang out for a couple hours. Is hockey training camp, is that a tough thing? You don't hear much about hockey training camp, like the hot stove with baseball, but hockey training camp, is that a walk in the park for you, or is that a difficult time?
It was difficult. Testing day sucks. One of either the first or second day is usually, when all the conditioning and strength tests are. So that's something that you obviously dread. You kind of train all summer to try to hit your numbers, and then, hopefully you do, so they don't give you a hard time. But then it's not that long, and you start playing exhibition games pretty quickly. And I think with the most recent CBA, it's even been shortened. That I think on the 4th or 5th day, you're playing exhibition games. So you kind of hit the cadence is kind of the same as the regular season, other than the testing on the first 2 or 3 days. But beyond the first 2 or 3 days, it's kind of business as usual. You're expected to be in shape, so it's not like they're trying to get you in shape.
Got it.
You're not in shape, you're getting sent down, with the first round of cuts. So, but then they cut guys periodically. So then guys kind of filter into the American League camps. So there's a trickle down effect. So the American League camps start at the same time. So the first day of the AHL camp for the Providence Bruins, for example, is like predominantly guys, all but 2 or 3 guys are not actually going to make the Providence Bruins. They're going to get pushed to AA as the guys filter down from Boston, for example. So, and then they make the last couple cuts the night before the season starts, pretty much.
Got it.
But no, it's not as grueling, like come here and get tortured and get in shape. Russia's like that. The NHL's not like that.
No, you guys, I mean, I've been around hockey guys, especially being at Boston College and how good they have been and how good of players that they've had, and being around those guys, even with New England going to an off-site facility and training with guys, there's a lot of hockey guys coming in. Do you guys like to practice? I mean, it seems fun. I asked somebody else, and they gave me the answer where it's like, okay, you only have basically, as you grow up, you have a certain time limit on the ice, and everybody's fighting for ice time. I get it. So you got to get out there, but it seems like you guys have fun when you're practicing.
Yes.
Like football sucks practicing.
Right. I remember that from high school. Like I started to play football in high school before I moved to Canada. And I remember just standing around in football practice, and it's either like miserable or standing around. And there's like no in between.
Yeah. I'm going to go hit this 350 pound guy, and that's my day.
Yeah.
But you guys are skating around, you're playing with pucks, you're shooting on the goalie. Playing a little 3-bar. Is that that's a thing? I can do my Irish accent. Is that
play a game called Rebound at the end? It's awesome. And now the more that practice is in North America anyway, the way they treat it is you play fewer games in Europe, and there's more practicing, and they're longer, and they're still a little bit old school over there. But with all the science now on like rest and recovery, and most teams, you guys are hooked up to the heart rate monitors, connected to the iPads, and they're checking your heart rate in between every drill. And my last year, there were cases where they'd be like, "Hey, take it easy." You're like, "What?"
Oh wow, yeah.
Because too much. They can tell it's working, that your body's just not recovering how they want it to. So it's not. I mean, you skate every day, and skating is just so demanding anyway. I mean, if you skate all out for 30 seconds, you're gassed. So you don't have to be out there for very long to get what you need, conditioning wise. So yeah, I mean, an hour practice nowadays in the NHL or AHL is long.
Really?
So, and yes, it's fun. If the team's doing well, it's really fun. If you are a star player and the team's doing well, it's like going to an amusement park every day. The guys who are fringe guys, which I was most of the time, practice is still stressful because you only have that 45 minutes to make an impression and try to get in the lineup. So, it's a little more of a job in that respect. But for the studs on a good team, it's a joke. You might as well be playing golf. Got it.
So you went to Russia too, and you have some incredible Russia stories on a couple podcasts, and I've heard you tell a few of them anyway. And I'm always worried you're going to get kidnapped maybe by some of the stories that you've told. But over there, you had a story about when you met the owner of, I can't remember what team it was, Josh, so you could tell me, but you met him. He was a tiny guy. He had a backwards Toronto hat on, had a big, huge hooded sweatshirt on or something that said like Rockaware. I can't remember exactly, but that's a whole different ball game over there, right? I mean, are you?
Well, you're not by making me tell that. You're not helping my prospects of not getting kidnapped.
You don't even maybe tell that exact story, but
don't worry. There's not that many people listening. You're fine.
The KHL compared to the NHL. Biggest difference is, maybe like being scared to death if you lose. Is that it, or is it?
No, I guess the biggest difference is, there's so many. Culture, obviously, the culture is just a huge one. So you mentioned training camp right out of the gate. Training camp in the KHL is awful. I remember landing in my first year. I was lucky. I landed in my visa got held up, so by the time I got there, we were 3 games into the regular season, so I had no training camp, and that honestly benefited me because I was used to by that time energy management and practice was more recovery than you were playing so many games.
And your sticks were stolen, right? From the airport?
What's that?
Your sticks were stolen already before the start of the season.
Never to be found.
That's a
those are somewhere. Those are on pond hockey all over the place in Russia right now.
Like an entire men's league team in Russia somewhere they have all Hennessy sticks.
Yep, absolutely.
And then the following year, I re-signed with the same team. And the following year, we went back for camp, and right away, I remember getting late at night. You get in, like, long trip to Moscow. We were kind of on like the outskirts of Moscow. Get in, very next day, team plane takes us to Slovenia. So I'm like, assuming we're bringing our hockey gear, and they're like, I'm packing my stuff, and they're like, no, you just need basically like, workout, just gym shorts, t-shirts, and sneakers. So the first 2+ weeks, we were on top of a mountain in Slovenia, just like running and doing push-ups and
it's rocky stuff right there.
Rocky scene.
Yeah. Barrel drills, and not even weights. Like, honestly, there was a track, so they kind of just they push your limits. So you're talking 6 hours a day, and that was something I had never done. So I kind of broke down, pretty quickly. My body I was just hurt. I pulled every hip flexor, groin you could pull, because we don't really run to train for hockey over here.
Yep.
You sprints, but there's not, unless you have to cut weight, nobody's really running, because we know now it's tough on your knees, and it doesn't translate that well, in my opinion, to hockey. So I had never run I didn't run further than, like a 40-yard dash. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden they're like, run up that mountain and be back by dinner, or you're not eating.
You don't get food. Yeah. No, you have to kill your food and bring it back down with you. Yeah.
You eat what you kill.
But they treat very well. So we stayed at, it was essentially, it was like a 5-star ski resort on this mountain. Obviously it's the summer. So you're eating well, you get treated well, but it's just a completely different mentality. I think they didn't expect you to show up ready for the season. They thought it was their job to get you ready. So that was different. And then, hockey wise, the big ice makes a huge difference in style of play.
Yeah.
Right. How was the language barrier? Were the coaches speaking Russian, or how did that work?
Yeah. My first year, our coach wouldn't say hello in English, only spoke Russian. So our goalie coach had played a little bit in the NHL. Russian guy he would sit next to the few. That year, I think we had 3 American guys and 2 Canadians, and we would, huddle next to each other in team meetings, and the goalie coach would be translating for us.
Oh God, that's just another layer. That's a pain. Well,
and so we've had some guys on, and like one of my best friends played in the big leagues, and then during the winter, a lot of times they play in like Venezuela or Dominican or something like that, and they'll go down and like they literally just go to play, go immediately back to the American resort after.
Yeah,
they don't go out for a minute, outside of the stadium and outside of security. I'm assuming that's not the case in Russia. I don't know. Are you walking around with guards and, security all the time? Or is it more, do you have a little bit more, you can go to a restaurant? Are you protected over there, because you play on certain teams?
The reason we were protected my first couple of years, the first team I played on, the guy you mentioned, was essentially most people in the town feared him. Mm-hmm. So the hockey guys were were grouped in with that. So there were nobody would bother us at all. I had absolutely no issues with that. I would go to the mall by myself. I would go out to eat by myself. I was by myself a lot, for sure. I lived in a hotel where there were there would be a week where I was like one of maybe 3 guests in the entire building. The restaurant would be open any time of day, and I would go in there and there's nobody there. And and I would sit down. It's like all of a sudden there are 5 people waiting on you. Mm-hmm. It was weird. And then, but it was different. There are definitely there's iron gates around the parking lot of the hotel. You have to get buzzed in. You can't, it was different. I didn't feel unsafe. It was an adventure for sure, but I didn't really feel that.
What about the talent compared to the NHL? Just as
hockey
good?
Talent, right?
Yeah, hockey talent.
Hockey talent.
He just said he didn't see anybody for 3 weeks. We're talking hockey now.
Hockey talent. Okay.
Yeah. No. So the NHL is the best league in the world. I usually it's my opinion that there are, if there are 750 players in the NHL approximately, I think you have clearly the 200 best players in the world at any given time. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody else is almost interchangeable with another 1,500 guys around the world that, if you replace them with those guys, nobody would notice the difference in the product on the ice.
Right.
So there's a ton of good hockey players in Russia that you'll never hear about. There'll be a few KHL guys who have never played a game in the NHL that are on the Russian Olympic team that make it over Russian NHLers.
Right.
And that's different reasons. But they very much respect their own league. So if you do really well over there as a Russian guy, you're in the conversation for the world champion teams, the Olympics. And then, Sweden, I would say Sweden, in my opinion, has, I don't mean to jump countries on you, but just talking outside the NHL, the highest concentration of really, really good hockey players that you'll never hear about. Mm-hmm. Because there are only 10 million people in the whole country, and they're considered a top 4 hockey powerhouse. So they compete with us, Russia, Canada, Finland obviously is in that category too, but with a 10 million person population.
What about the fans? Who's got the best fans?
Yeah, they're passionate. So Russia's a mixed bag. So Russia, if you go to St. Petersburg, St. Petersburg has an NHL payroll, so that's probably the most lucrative place to play outside of the NHL. They sell out every game. A comparable, feels like an NHL game in terms of atmosphere. Nice arena, nice city. And then, you'll play some sleepy games in some small towns where the rink only holds 4,000 people. And actually, those can be cool too if they're sold out.
Yeah.
Like going back to, junior or high school. But it's really mixed bag. So there's kind of no, across the board standard on this needs to be your rink. This needs to be, so there are different levels in the KHL. So, there's a team, what's it called? I think it was Novokuznetsk. You know how to say it. They have no expectations ever of, if they made the playoffs, there'd be a parade. So it's not as competitive in terms of like when St. Petersburg or CSK Moscow, the top, Red Sox, Yankees play the last place team, there is no chance that they don't win.
Right.
It's a different level. The next season they might pluck the best 3 players off that team to come with them, but that team, based on just on finances, stays where they are. Right. So you have rich teams and less rich teams, and it's really hard for the teams because there's no salary cap as far as I know, or minimum. So it's difficult for the less wealthy teams to compete. So you have a few teams that struggle to ever make the playoffs. And then you have kind of the same 4 or 5 teams that you always see at the top of the league. And that's just about money.
What's a black ace? Can you give me the black ace definition? I know that you are. Like, you're like an all-time black ace. But like, I think the listeners that don't, or the viewers don't understand what it is.
If I wrote a book, it might be called Black Ace. A black ace is a taxi squad for the playoffs for an NHL team. So if you were a bubble, injury call-up guy for the NHL team during the season, and you could, be serviceable in an NHL playoff game if they need in case of injury, and your AHL team is eliminated, they need to keep those guys in shape. So the AHL team gets knocked out, you either don't make the playoffs or you lose in the first round, the NHL team's still going. The NHL team adds you, they bring you on the roster because they have to keep, a crop of guys in shape in case of injury. So that's basically what a black ace is. And it'll usually consist of a couple veteran guys with some NHL experience, that they know could, like I said, be serviceable. Yeah. And then
they only want to use you in an emergency.
Practice squad. A little bit of like practice squad.
They want to keep you in shape.
But in some cases it's young guys that just haven't quite made it yet and will eventually make it. So some, a lot of their good prospects would be there. Usually they want the young kids there as black aces to see it.
Oh, just to get a taste. Okay. So there's a group that's going to taste. Yeah. So it's kind of like AAA.
Oh, they're practicing with that group. They're just not suiting up.
Right. You're in the press box, right? Or are you in the?
But
you're in a box.
Don't want to use a distraction. So what the funny part about a black ace is, it's actually so much fun because you get a sense of how far away you are from playing, right? So once Otto went to the finals in 2007, and I had played some games during the year, so I was on the, I was a black ace. I was up for the playoffs, and we went all the way to the finals. So we were there for almost 2 full months. But we played 45 rounds of golf. We were going out 4 nights a week because you got the sense that you weren't anywhere close to playing. Right? So
you're probably not going to have to put a uniform on. You're there. You're there to hang out.
Where a couple, there was an injury that kind of might have been my role, and they came up and told me. And the coaches know what's going on. They know you're going out. They don't really expect not to.
Right.
So they came up and were like, "Hey, take it easy this week. We're going to get close here."
Got it.
And so that's the funny part about being a black ace. But you live in a hotel with your buddies. There's usually, 6 or 8 guys. And not a lot is expected of you unless you're really close to playing based on injury. And there were a couple times I was a black ace where I was, pretty, we would have had to have like a pandemic or something for me to play. So
yeah, got it. So there's a lot of terms in hockey. I wrote a few down. We need some definitions here. We've talked to some baseball guys. We learned like what getting like raked is.
Shoving it.
Yeah, shoving. A lot of terms. So hockey, we've got celly, clapper, suitcase. So would you consider yourself a little bit of a suitcase? Yeah. Is that you? Okay. So suitcase means it's always packed. You could be going city to city. Like you could be getting traded team to team, right? Like, you're a suitcase, right? Is that accurate?
Country to country.
Country to country.
You're on the move.
You're on the move.
If you have my stats pulled up, I don't know how many teams I played for, but it was quite a few.
Well, I got one name, Neftahimic.
Oh yeah,
Neftahimic. That's. I hope you never have to go there for any reason.
Okay, all right. So Max wrote it on the board here to see if I could pronounce it. I nailed it.
I want you to do the whole thing.
Neftahimic
Nizhny Kamsk Nefty.
Can't even see it. It's behind our ring light over here. So it's giving us this beautiful tan.
Can you not ever say we have a ring light again? Jesus Christ.
Speaking of terminology, that was my last year in the KHL. So that was, that was a little bit dark for me. I was away from my family and stuff. And I think I overstayed a year too long in the KHL.
One extra year.
It was financial for me. That's where, that was the opportunity I had to make the most money outside of the NHL. So I felt like I had to do it. And not that it probably wasn't as bad as I remembered. Some guys play there for a while and like it and do really great. And you actually get treated well. But just having kids and having been away that long, I was getting worn down a little bit. So I was happy to get out of there when I did.
What's a grocery stick? Is that I'm telling you, I hear these all the time because I grew up in Maine. Obviously big hockey area. I don't even know how to stop on skates though. But I've been around this world my whole life, and I've heard all these terms, and I'm always like, what does that even mean?
You sure you didn't Google that up?
No, a grocery stick. No, he's going to know grocery stick. What's grocery stick?
It's if you're not playing much, if you don't get much ice time, so that the defense are on one end of the bench and the forwards on the other, right? So if you're in the middle, you're the divider, you're the grocery stick. So that means, so when you come off the ice, typically you come off and then you would slide back towards the door as the lines change, where you're getting closer to your shift again. Yep. And if you don't move in either direction, it means you're not playing. So you're the grocery.
You're the divider on the conveyor belt.
I love it. That's great. That
means if you're forward and the guy to your immediate left is a defenseman, you are the grocery stick.
Perfect grocery stick. We hear Whitney say it on Spin Chicks all the time. Pigeon. What's a pigeon?
A pigeon is just like somebody beneath you. It's just kind of like derogatory.
Okay. Got it. What about a pylon?
Cone would be a defenseman that's not very mobile, and you can skate around him like he's a pylon. Okay. Like you wouldn't practice.
Yeah, we've used cone before.
Okay. Yeah. So a sieve, we know that's like a goalie that just literally lets everything in the net, right?
Holes in them.
Yeah. you know, you talk salads. You know, what's another hair term? You know, everybody talks about lettuce. There you go. Salad. Is it salad or is it lettuce?
Yeah.
I might have made that up. Did I make that up? Is that a new term? No. Okay, both. All right. I saw this one, lip sweater. What's a lip sweater? Do you know what that is?
I don't know. We're going to have to Google that one.
It's a mustache. No, it's a mustache. I know what it is. It's a mustache. A lip sweater. Yeah. I've never heard that
Makes
term.
sense.
So, you know, we nailed a bunch of them there. Dusty? I mean, we're talking Dusty all the time because we're listening to Far From Par with you guys. Is that a hockey thing or is that a golf thing? Dusty, Duster?
Duster is like, could be, I would say it's not that used that often in hockey, but it would be not a great player.
Do we miss any?
I think it's probably just a Hutton Terrence thing. I really think it's a far from par
might
thing.
Be, no, I've seen it. Yeah, I've heard it.
But it seems like he uses that word way too much where it doesn't mean something.
Yeah, it means good and bad.
Like, on his tone, it could be good in some cases, but
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say Dusty is not good in any sport if I had to guess.
Hey,
do you want to take a break?
No, we do the ad read real quick.
Let's take a break.
Josh, so as we're going right now, we're doing an ad read mid interview. It's the first time we've done this. So
because we got sponsors, we're powered.
So Josh is in the, he's in the real estate. He's a real estate mogul now, basically. That's property management. So if he has a company, he's looking for like logos on it, Squad
or
Locker.
Even if he's on the golf course,
he's on the golf course.
He could pull up the website.
Squad Locker store. Sure. Absolutely. I mean, have you ever lost an item? Like if you're an athlete, if you ever lost a jersey, you need a new one.
Maybe it stayed in the KHL.
Right. Absolutely. You need an 8-piece pack as a hockey player. You can buy that from us. Ships direct to home. We've got the online stores. You can put a mix of custom sublimated, printed, and embroidered items. I can't believe I have to read this. I say this 27 times a day to our sales team, but I'm rolling through it right now. All in one spot. It's always open. There's no order minimums. Players, parents, fans, they can buy it. Ships directly to your home. Squadlocker.com/suitup.
That is active now, right?
It's active. It's active. We're actually there.
Hey, so Henny will like it because we got CCM now.
So we actually hung up some CCM items for this interview only. I don't know. Is that a bad thing? Are you a Bauer guy? You're a Bauer guy, probably, right?
Guys, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep.
All right, we'll go back. We'll go back to our ad read.
We'll go back to the ad read. Good idea.
I'll mute myself. Sorry.
Oh, good. We'll just continue the ad. Just let this roll, Max. CCM.
Yes. Which is
killer hockey brand.
Yeah.
Coming back into the mix, right? We're going to have CCM in the stores, travel suits, rink suits. You know what? The favorite thing that I have, Dan, I don't know if I can reach it because I got my headphones on. I don't know. Can they see this, Max, on the YouTube? Zip up, the tie hoodie.
Yeah.
CCM tie hoodie, unbelievable. All that stuff's going to be live in like 2 weeks with Squad Locker.
I got the T-shirts are comfortable too.
You said that the T-shirts are comfortable. So I'm assuming the Dryland stuff, the T-shirts, the shorts, the lace-up hoodie, the sweats. Yeah. That's all good. By the way, it's getting hot in here. I'm starting to get a little bead. See a little.
What is it? The
lip sweater.
The lip sweater.
I'm getting a little bit of a bead going right now. And Josh is cutting down trees at his house. So this is perfect. We should do this in the middle of these interviews all the time, like when we do a little ad read. Here he comes back right now.
Can you hear that?
What, is the trees cutting down? No, I can't hear it. I can't. You said the neighbors were going nuts, though. But
chainsaws all
Tip's
day.
lip sweater is really beating up right now.
I'm getting hot in this room. We got to open
the
the
lip
door
sweater is
working. Get a little air in here.
You said, Steve, can you guys? You're doing the ad reads on the gear.
We're done with the ad read now, but yeah.
I might have to have like a jersey made up to.
We could do that for you.
Pretend I don't have an actual jersey from playing the NHL, which is really silly because the last time I got sent down, I just figured I was coming back and I never did.
How do you like sublimated?
Let's get you a sublimated. We'll get you a sublimated jersey. It's going to go in glass anyway, right? You're going to hang it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but we can't tell anybody. So when your podcast gets huge, you got to delete this episode.
Well, it's already huge.
We're going to be dead by then, so don't worry about it.
It's already huge. As long as we get 8 to 12 listeners a week, I mean, we're winning in our space.
That's
how
progress.
It works. Hey, so
the ball's
our favorite thing that we have from CCM, Josh. And you could have been a Bauer guy, but there's two major brands in hockey. It's Bauer and CCM all day.
I was CCM.
You're CCM?
Yep. Somewhat by default because in the American League, they told us we had no choice.
Yeah, got it.
But there's nothing wrong with their stuff, but we didn't have the same options. When you get called up, you get to pick and choose. But CCM typically sponsors the American League, so actually, you guys might be interested. There's stick exemptions. So if you're one of the star players in the American League team, or like a veteran, one of the better players, I think you could have 3. So like 3 guys on the team can use whatever sticks they want, and everybody else has to use CCM.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Makes sense.
But it's not bad stuff. It's just those guys get to choose.
Yeah, no,
That
we
makes
do.
sense.
I mean,
That
the
makes
rink
sense.
suit, the CCM rink suits are going to sell like wildfire for us this year. That's a big deal. I mean, we have probably 15,000 hockey teams with squad lockers, so there's a lot of business there to be had on that side.
Well, it's Bauer CCM, right?
That's
and
one of
the
the
fact that they can get CCM delivered to their door with their team logo or their hockey association, which is a good thing. Speaking of that, Josh, all right, so you got young kids now. The boys are.
Are you picking up at 4 o'clock, by the way?
No, I'm off the hook. That was part of my pause.
Oh, nice. There we go. Now we got them for a little bit longer.
Are they all the kids hockey players, or what? So what's because it's a very demanding sport, as you know.
It's very demanding, on parents. Yes.
Yeah.
My
never
boys
stops.
are playing. They're only 7, and they were in house league last year, so we were just at one rink, cross ice scrimmage twice a week, which I don't subscribe to. I don't think that we need to get that nuts right now with 7-year-olds. I know a lot of parents are intense about getting them on a travel team or some kind of AAA or higher level team at this age, which I think is a little bit silly. But my girls were older, so it was partly timing, and I don't know if my sister was a good hockey player, so it's not that I wouldn't have liked them to play. I was still playing when my girls would have started, and I just didn't have time. My wife's not a hockey person. I could barely get her to come to my own games. And by the time the boys came around, I was kind of ready to get back into it. So,
coaching in the future?
Yes, I help out now when I'm there, but might sound bad. I don't really want to coach them until I can really add something to somebody else. So when they get a little bit better and have the capacity to absorb a little bit more, I think I'll enjoy that. Right now, it's nice right now, my boys listen to other people more than they listen to me. Or if I'm out there, they fall, they want me to help them get up. And when I'm not out there, they actually do better. They get a little bit more independent. So I think I'll end up coaching when they're older, and get to a little bit higher level where I can teach them the stuff that I think maybe somebody else can't. But at this point, they're babies.
Yeah, the coaching thing is hard when you're a player too, because like good players don't always make good coaches. Like that's obvious.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I remember when I got done, I started coaching like all these select teams that were in Rhode Island, and like people were paying big bucks for this stuff, and I just was getting asked to like, hey, can you go take this team to Atlanta, or can you take this team to wherever and coach them? I'm like, sure. And I'm like, shit, I don't even know all the rules. I'm like,
I only played one position.
So wait a minute. Like, what do you mean a double switch? I don't know how to do that. Like, can't we just have a DA? Like, I'm not sure. And then a parent like was mad because their kid didn't catch a game, like got in my face and like wanted to go. And I was like, guess what? I'm not doing this anymore. So that was it.
I do not want. I'm a pretty laid back guy. I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm not interested at all in that.
Be on the bench because I don't have to hear everything that's said in the stands. But I don't know, I picture myself hiding in the corner.
You're going to hide in the corner, but you're still going to hear those other parents, which is going to drive you absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Right. I'm not looking forward to that.
There are some crazy, crazy hockey people.
Yeah, who probably know nothing, right?
I mean, I would say like this area in general, people kind of know what they're talking about. Like they care a lot, and they don't always know what they're talking about in terms. They're probably a lot of the time unrealistic about their own kid,
right?
But a lot of people do know the game.
They do. They get you know what? They get mad at the ref. That's who. Right. That's who gets the brunt of it.
14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kid out there just getting buried by parents in the stands.
It's like 6 dads in the stands. Yeah. It's like half cocked. Yelling at him.
He gets the skate and he gets a hot dog, and like that's all his pay is. He's getting screamed at. So,
did you play other sports growing up, or was it just hockey?
Yeah, I played baseball and football until I moved to Canada at 16. So until sophomore year of high school, I guess.
There's a new passion. There's a new passion now, though, of yours, and that's what I wanted to get into to, really ask some questions here. Well, real estate, yeah, but
well, he does real estate on the course.
Golf,
yeah, absolutely, yes. Right.
So that's all I'm good for out there.
Golf. I mean, so we play a bunch. Josh is at my club, so we play a lot. We just played this past weekend ABCD. Very interesting. I haven't told you this story yet, Josh, but my D player teed off, hit the ball 3 feet, grabbed the ball, re-teed it, hit it, striped it, teed it up again in the fairway. I'm not kidding.
No, he didn't.
Dude, I had to wave back to the team.
Name him right now.
I can't. Dude, it was wild. It was a wild experience in my group where I was waving back to the group behind us like, I got this, guys. Like,
I'm pretty sure at that moment he forgot his name.
Yeah, it was a very interesting tournament.
Did you guys use his 6 for 4 on the card?
Absolutely not. I had to pay attention to the card actually for the first time in a while. Like normally, we play a lot of pretty organized games with a lot of people who know the rules. So that was a different event for sure. But we've played in a ton of different tournaments, and one of the things I was going to mention, one of my favorite stories so far of Josh playing golf with is his partner in the 4-day. We had a few drinks, quite a few drinks during the 4-day. A lot of people end up leaving 4 cars there by the end of the event.
4 days is a long time. That's a day too long.
But what was your buddy's last name again? Do we want to name him?
I don't know. It depends how bad the story is.
No, it's about the backwards shirt.
Telling of how I am as a partner.
So we show up on the last day. Both of our teams are out of it, And first of all, Josh steps up. We're to teed off 16. First shot of the day, he almost holes it out. Remember, you were like an inch from a hole in one in that 4-day.
Remember that.
Unbelievable.
Now I very clearly remember.
Remember this story? Yeah. So then we play like 4 holes, and I see his partner, and like I'm a gear guy, so I'm always in the apparel, and I'm like, he's got his shirt on backwards.
No, it was inside out.
Inside out. Like, so he's got his shirt on inside out. The tags hanging, like the logo's the wrong way. It's got the backing on it and everything.
Polo shirt. Out. That's hard to do.
So I waited. Well, it's not hard to do when you were in that physical state of his partner. So I waited for like 4 holes, and finally I was like, man, like, I'm pretty sure your shirt's on inside out. And he was like, might just leave it. left it the whole day. So, we have that tournament going. We're out there a lot, Josh. Like, I always, and we've said this to like every, we've had Danny Woodhead on, he's a +3 handicap. And, we talked to Hutt and those guys. Hockey players can play golf.
Yes.
They're very, very good at golf. Like, there's another guy in Providence, Eaton, I think. I can't remember. He's at Kirkbride. He's like a 0 handicap. Yeah. I can't remember his name exactly, but you have one of the best swings at the club. You're left-handed. You've got a great swing. We got to get that handicap down, and it can be. You have great hands around the green. You can putt, like you can do all kinds of stuff.
What is the handicap right now?
I'm at 12 now, but that was only because I had a good round last weekend. It was bad. It is bad. I don't have an answer for you other than a lot of demons in my head.
It's just demons. Is that what it is?
See, I don't get, because I've heard you on Chicklets and then, with Far From Par. Here's a guy that's played at the top level of his sport, right? Against the top guys, can forget about what happened in the past and move on. What do we have to do now? Why the hell can't you do that in golf? Because when you talk to them, it's like, my mind is all over the place. I'm thinking about 5 million different things every swing. Yeah. Why can't you just focus on 2-3 things and just go? Because your mind can do it.
It's exactly. I think so. For me, it's trusting my swing. Like you said, I have a good swing. Other people say that, and for some reason, I'm so critical. I always hated seeing myself on video, even in hockey. I thought it's almost like the first time you hear your voice. So I don't know if you guys.
Same thing, no doubt.
If you the first time you hear
and Tip sits closer to the camera too, so
so I look like twice as fat as Dan, even though I'm 50 pounds less than him. Maybe 20.
But even like video session after the day after a game, I was always like, oh, is that what I look like when I skate? And now nobody else is that critical of you. So the worst thing that ever happened to me was I took a golf lesson and saw myself on video, and I love to watch golf. And I was like, wait a second, I don't look like those guys on TV. It looks awful.
Yeah, I don't finish my swing like that.
You look like you're in kind of good shape or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like he can move.
Is it like it's like because I get what you're saying about watching yourself on film. I hated it, but it wasn't because I was looking at me. It was more because I was waiting for the play that I messed up on, and I'm just like wait. Like I could care less about the good plays. Could care less. If I come out of a game, I know the 2 plays that I messed up on. Regardless if we won or lost, I'm thinking about the film room the next day, thinking, I'm gonna get screamed at for this. I'm gonna get killed for this. That's the problem.
And I think, and you and probably the same. You know, you're so good at your position that, and kind of a lot of people are that way where you don't even remember your good plays, like you said, or maybe you remember them, but you know you feel like you're just doing
barely.
I was that way in hockey. So when I scored, they typically, which is hard to do, save a few guys in the world. It was almost like a relief more than like joy. It was just like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I still have a job. That's good. And then in golf, I'm kind of the same way mentally, which is not, I don't think is a very bad thing for golf, is that I don't remember my good shots. It's almost that same, like, oh, you're a professional athlete, you're supposed to do that. And then I remember every ball I've ever hit into the pond on 5.
Yeah. You know what's funny, though? You're right, though, John.
Don't do that.
You're right, though.
That's actually not, I also birdied that hole, it's like, remember the birdie.
I don't know what it is. It's not a hard shot. But you put water in front of you and your mind plays tricks on you.
But he's dead on, though, because you know when you just put a swing on it sometimes and then you hit a ball and you see that it's like right where you want it to go, you almost let out like a... You know what I mean? Like that actually happens sometimes to me. We're just like, yes, like
finally,
right? And that makes a lot of sense because it's not all the time. No, we're like pitching. You might go 4 or 5 innings where you're like just throwing it like wherever you want. And it's like, like you're on, and it's like no problem. Like golf, it's not like that for us because it's not our actual sport.
But
right?
it's also too. I mean, because he's playing and he's coming off. He retired 3 years ago or whatever it is. I mean, that's the grind. Right. And you want to get back to that consistency, and you could be great on one swing. The next swing, it's like, where the hell did it come from? And that's the mental grind that you have in the competition with yourself. It doesn't even matter if I'm playing with anybody. I just want to get better each day.
Yeah, and I want my bad day to be still fun, and I'm hard on myself. My window is so big on how I could play that. I have, once you know that you're capable of something and then you don't do it consistently, it becomes frustrating. So it's just been a couple. I'll get better.
I've seen the window wide open and I've seen it closed. I've seen it on both sides of your game. And like when you're on there's no better player to have as your partner than you when you're like in a decent spot because you're a 12 handicap, but you can go out there and like light it up. You know what I mean?
Well, I could birdie any hole. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you've got great hands. So you're like, around the green, you're like, this guy's at least not going to jab it and it's going to like go in the water again. Like it's going to be okay. Like we're going to be all right.
That's the beauty of the 12 because that guy can birdie, like you said, any hole.
Yeah,
and the guy that's very dangerous. And the guy that's playing at a 3, he's getting 9 shots or whatever it is. That's
dangerous.
That's hard to compete with that all day long.
It's dangerous, very dangerous. So,
guys, I now I have to get the kids.
Yeah, well, we're good. So let's go get the kids.
But I will. I'm happy to come back on anytime you need another.
Maybe if you show the vaccine card, you can come in.
We'd like to have you in here.
Stand outside the window.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We can have you right outside the window door. That's a perfect thing. So, hey, we'll have you on again. Good chatting. Are you going to come to San Diego to the Dust Cup that Hut has? Have you heard about this yet?
I haven't.
He mentioned your name, my name, and Dan's name.
Have you heard of it? It's in the head though, right?
Golf?
No, the Dust Cup. It's you've heard
Make
of
it happen.
All right, good. Just
are you guys going?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Let's
November. We'll talk about it. All right. Later,
I'm going to take my PXGs and my Jordans and shove them up their ass.
See you, Henny. Later.
Sounds good.
See you, buddy. That was fun.
That was good.
You want to do an intro?
No, I think we
just
don't
go
need
with
to,
that.
Right? I mean, we can cut it whenever you want.
Oh, we're still going?
Yeah, we can go.
We're still going.
I think we're good.
Let's leave it in, Max. Leave it in. A little behind the scenes.
That was fun. That was Henny.
Let me give you a hypothetical. I wrote down a hypothetical. I wanted to ask him. Hypothetical.
Okay.
Jeez, I can't talk today. $10 million. Okay.
Oh no, I think. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
$10 million cash.
Yep.
Tax free. Okay. Yep. Say that it's actually like bags. You can put it wherever you want.
Gotcha.
In 24 hours, you got to run 100 miles.
24 hours.
Yep.
100 miles.
If you don't do it, you go to jail for 10 years.
Run or walk or just travel?
You got to do 100 miles.
Just travel 100 miles.
By foot. By foot, not by bike.
I got you.
You don't do it, you do 10 years in jail.
Yep.
Do you take the bet?
800.
We figured out Max, you might have to do some quick math here for me. I think I figured out it was like 13-minute miles, something like that.
Right.
For a day.
If you do 10 minutes, right, that's 100, that's 10, that's 1,000.
Try to do this math. This is a math test.
10.
For us right
That's 1,000 minutes, right?
It's,
you do 10-minute miles, that's 1,000 minutes.
yeah, divided by 24 is
Do
what?
13, that's
16
1,300. 1,300. I don't think I can do it.
So I tried to.
Dude, I tried to do how many?
Yeah.
I tried to do 100 when we were doing the bike challenge.
Oh, I know what it was. It's 400 laps around a track.
That's what you're saying. Yeah,
400 laps around
I
a
tried
track.
to do 100 during our bike challenge multiple times. I only got to 70.
I know. Then you're going 20
And now,
miles an hour.
now I'm thinking about the bike, and you're
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pass on. I don't think I can do it.
So do this, Max. Right. So 400 laps is what that is, because a mile is 4 laps. So 400 laps, you'd have to run a lap, I think, in like 4 minutes, something like that. I think it's around 1 lap in 4 minutes. So, like, that's not cooking.
No, because
but can you keep that pace
Right.
for 24 hours is the question. You know, you got to imagine you're going to go to the bathroom a couple times. So that knocks off 5 minutes.
A couple.
Right? That's 10 minutes gone. That's 3 laps, 2 laps. Would you take that bet?
I don't think so.
I'm on the fence.
I don't
man.
think so. I'm
on the fence because I'm wondering if the adrenaline, you just go out there and you bang down like 50, well, 50 laps isn't enough. Can you go out there and bang down like 100 laps and then like take a break?
Nope. I can't go out there and bang down 100 laps.
Like 10 mil on the line?
That's torture.
Cash?
We're not even talking about 100. We're talking about 400. We're talking about 4 times
I know, but like your rest could just be walking, right? And like
it's
4
definitely.
minutes.
I'm not going to stop moving if I have to.
Right. What do the listeners think? Do the primers? The primers might need to respond on something, Max. I don't know how we get them to respond. But
still cracks
I got that hypothetical by
It's a good hypothetical
by my friend Steve.
I'm going to say no. I would turn that hypothetical down.
Okay. All right, you're going to turn that down.
I'm going to say I'm not going to participate. I just don't think I can do 100 miles in a day.
All right, so Dan's saying no. I'm going to say...
You're on the fence. You're not even saying yes. Like
no, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Because you said
it's not worth 10 years of my life.
You said you'd die on the bike to beat me, and
well,
you sort of gave up
yeah,
about
we can do that. We'll do that challenge again when I'm in the right mental state.
I don't want to do that challenge.
Give me when I'm healthy, and it's game on. I was doing that with a broken ticker.
Well,
you
got the doctor's visit coming up.
I do have a doctor's appointment on Thursday, so we got a lot going on with that. We'll get some performance enhancing drugs to be able to take Dan on for the next challenge match.
We're gonna start drug testing before the next challenge.
So no team of the week this week, but we have one coming up next week because I know I got a couple submissions. So team of the week's going to be next week. We might do 2. Might do 2.
That was fun with Henny though.
Henny, so we play golf all the time, like we said. He played forever. 15 years, 17 years or something like that. So, and he's only 36 or 7 years old, I think. You were the same age. So, been in the NHL though, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, like you got I don't know if you get to keep the puck. I would keep the puck if I was him.
I'm sure he's got a puck.
You know, you got the goal right on the thing.
He never really explained how he got the 1 goal, though.
It was against a bad goalie. I know that.
If you're in the NHL, it's a good goalie.
Yeah, you're good.
Come on.
Exactly. So, but he's, by the way, listen to him on Spit and Chicklets and a couple other, and Far From Par, because he just like chops it up with the guys, and he's got some pretty good stories on their stuff. So, what's up? Is there anything coming up for us at all? We have anything crazy coming up, Dan? We're playing golf, which is great. it's starting to get a little warmer, even though it snowed this morning.
It was cold.
And I think it's like 68 degrees right now.
It was cold. I mean, I got a nice purchase at the pro shop for
you got a beautiful new item.
48 degrees this morning.
So I'm wearing another ad.
Zero.
Right here. I get a zero restriction jacket on here, fully waterproof. These things are going in stores.
It's going to need it from your lip. Lip
no.
Right
these
now.
things breathe. These things breathe. So I'm not even sweating under here. Lip what? I wrote it down. Lip sweater.
The beads are going to be falling on it pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a wrap for episode 21.
I like it.
We'll talk to you next time.
Five-Star Prime is brought to you by Squad Locker. Squad Locker is your one-stop shop for custom team apparel, delivered right to your front door. Learn more by visiting squadlocker.com.